And there we are. We're going to put this on multi-stream chat.
God, are we on the internet? Oh, Jesus.
We're live. We are live on the internet for everyone to see.
Live, but barely alive.
Live, yeah. Live, not alive.
Live, not lively.
Very dead.
Dead inside, at the very least.
Ooh.
You do have that purple pallor going on.
I know. I can change it.
Your fucking Thanos cosplay. You just look ill. Okay, now you look dead.
Very green.
What's the most blinding white you can get? For Moon Knight.
Just that.
Oh, it's just normal color.
Wait, hang on. That. It still looks pink-ish.
Kind of pink.
I think that's just the.
Although I wonder if that's just lighting your face.
I think it's because of the red in the background and it's throwing the.
And the way light works, yeah, that makes sense.
The balance off.
It's all about balance, I hear.
Okay, sure. That one.
Jeez, that was very red.
This
is it. This is where we start our campaign for Aaron to be Thaddeus Ross, the Red Hulk.
Yeah!
I'd watch it.
Let's go.
Get out of here, Harrison Ford.
I was going to say, would you watch Harrison Ford as Red Hulk?
Well, yeah, because he's just got built-in grump going on.
Yeah, he does.
He's like naturally angry.
What a legend.
I aspire to be as grumpy as that motherfucker someday.
I am. All right, let's go.
You're also the same age.
Motherfucker. Son of a bitch.
Just imagine being my fiance, who is also older than me, but like by 5 months. Insufferable.
Okay, here we go. This is my podcast face.
Oh, God.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Stark or Stank. My name's Aaron. I'm here with Josh.
I wasn't expecting the no blinking. Fucking hell. Hello, I'm Josh.
This is a podcast where we talk about all things MCU. That's why this week we're talking about Marvel's Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation 5.
No. That's not the MCU,
Let's
despite
go.
How many costumes might be in that game.
I'm ready to go.
Wait, did you finish it?
Fuck no. I'm like...
you're not ready.
I think my last count was like 30% or something.
What?
I think so.
Can't be right.
I don't know. I'm
fucked up the math somewhere.
I'm somewhere where I don't know where I am.
Oh, well, okay.
And I don't see towels. Welcome to the show. This week we're talking about Moon Knight, not Spider-Man 2, the video game, or Super Mario Wonder, which I also played.
Not even sure how that's connected.
I
guess he's from Brooklyn. Brooklyn's in Marvel Spider-Man 2.
There you go, we did it. Moon Knight is a televisual program for the Disney Plus streaming service. You can,
it's not a TV show though. It's not on TV.
It's a program you can watch on your phone if you are a heathen, or you can watch it on a TV like a normal person.
No in between. It's got to be a TV or a phone. You can't do tablets. Nah, right out. Absolutely not.
Yeah, you either
Computer, fuck off.
You either watch it on the smallest screen you have or the biggest screen you have. Nothing else.
But you can't use a projector either.
Definitely not. That would be closer to a movie, and this isn't a movie. This is a show.
Yeah, no, this is a show. It's not a... God, how many hours long movie? Too many hours.
See? 6 episodes?
Yeah, and they're all...
Oh, one of them's like half an hour.
I feel like one of them's quite long also. Maybe that balances it out.
Maybe it does. Moon Knight. Let's talk about some trivia. There's not a whole lot of trivia.
Hit me with that Moon Knight trivia.
Seems like it was a pretty smooth sailing production. They did all right.
Would this have been one of the productions to happen after COVID?
Yes, because one of my things here was about how Oscar Isaac lives next door to Ethan Hawke. And he was like, hey, you want to do this show that I'm on? And apparently this was during COVID. They met at a coffee shop in Brooklyn, even though they're neighbors. I don't know.
No, we have to go somewhere entirely different to meet. That's how this works.
Yeah, that's it.
Can't just
look
can't
over
just
the
go
fence.
to people's houses during COVID.
You can't just look over Ethan Hawke's fence and be like, hey, you want to be on my show?
What's up, Ethan Hawke? How's it going, Ethan Hawke? You want to be in my show, Ethan Hawke? Yeah, bye, Ethan Hawke.
When Marvel Studios chief Kevin Feige announced in 2019 that Moon Knight would be one of the studio's Disney Plus shows, Mohammed Diab and his wife and producing partner Sarah Goa zeroed in on the character as the project they most wanted to pursue after recently moving to LA. Diab and Goa put together a 200-page pitch document covering every aspect of how they'd approach the production, and obviously they got the job, and here we are.
Yeah, no, that seems rather impressive. I'm the kind of guy that would not even read that. I'd just be like, wow, you seem to care a lot. It could be fucking empty pages for all I know, because you've shown me that you care, or at least you've tricked me into thinking that you care.
They wrote the first 5 pages, and then the last 5 pages, and then in the middle was just all blank pages.
They just triple spaced every word.
That's it. For the scenes where Steven and Mark interact with each other, rather than have Oscar Isaac try to act against a green screen stand-in or an extra, Marvel hired Isaac's brother, the journalist actor Michael Benjamin Bro Dameron Hernandez, to serve as his double as a way to help Isaac act opposite himself.
Well, I hate Bro Dameron, but everything else there is really cool.
That's the only reason I added this trivia fact, is just so that I could say Bro Dameron, which...
It's so stupid. Like, that's a cool thing that he has a brother he could act against, and you know, those scenes work really well, and I feel like that's probably because he has someone to bounce off of. But
yeah,
Bro Dameron, fuck you. That's to you, not to Bro Dameron.
I know. Thank you so much. Thank you for
clarifying. Sure Bro Dameron's fine.
He'll be right.
Piece of shit.
The show has a bunch of QR codes you can scan, and when you scan them, they redirect you to a page on the official Marvel website where it's possible to read a free online issue of the Moon Knight comics related to each episode.
Neat.
Yeah, I never did that.
Do you know which comics those are?
No idea.
Good, great, good job, trivia man.
I got this off IMDb an hour ago. Here we are. To better understand his character's dissociative identity disorder, also known as DID, Oscar Isaac read A Fractured Mind, the 2005 memoir by China scholar Robert B. Oxenham, who learned through therapy in his 40s that the blackouts, depression, and alcoholism that had plagued him were the result of 11 distinct personalities. So there you go. That's where a lot of the stuff in this show is based on, because the comics do not get so serious with the DID. It's like...
No, especially not the earlier on ones. I feel like it might be a more recent thing that they touched on with some greater care, but definitely not the classic Moon Knight stuff.
I know it was like Khonshu has like a bunch of different names, and therefore he has a bunch of different personalities, and that's why he has them.
Yeah. There was a in-universe mystical reason for it.
Yeah,
but it doesn't quite line up with, the psychological aspect of it in this.
Right.
I'm looking at some of the comics that were in those QR codes.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of them are Werewolf by Night comics, which would have been the first appearances of Moon Knight as a character in the Marvel comics.
Yeah.
There's one with the character Midnight, who is referenced in episode 3 of the series. There's a lot of different ones, and mostly it's just referential stuff.
Yeah.
One looks like it might be the I'm guessing it's the origin story, because it's the episode where they get the origin story told.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Now, we come to the part of the show where I read the plot. Now, this is from a shit website. Don't go there. It's fandom.com. It's fucking shit. Don't bother going there ever in your entire life. It's a garbage website for garbage people. All right. But I'm just going to say this is the worst plot, like written plot on this website.
Oh, I can't wait because this is going to have so many proper nouns all the time.
Well, it's not even that. It's the fact that we have a reveal in episode 5 about the backstory of everything, right? How he got his disorder and all this sort of stuff. This just tells that part of the show.
So it just tells you the entire story in chronological order, and not in the order of how the show tells it.
Yes. So the first,
that's a bad synopsis.
The first 3 paragraphs of this are just retelling that backstory, and then the 4th paragraph is the beginning of the show. So
okay, well, would you like to skip ahead to paragraph 4?
That's what I'm doing.
And we'll come back to that.
I'm going to start from paragraph 4, read it up until the backstory comes in, and then I'll go back to the beginning and read that.
We're not smart people, as evidenced by the existence of this show, but we're smarter than fandom.
Oh, whoever wrote this on fandom, anyway. I will also say I had a quick glance through it, and it's also not the most well written.
Great, because all of these have been Shakespearean works of art.
But this may be the worst I've seen so far.
Oh, bars low.
So here we go. You ready? Starting from the beginning of Moon Knight. 2 months later, Grant wakes up in his apartment and heads to his job at the National Art Gallery, where he is mistreated by his strict boss, Donna Kraft. At night, Grant attempts to stay awake by studying about ancient Egypt.
That sounds vaguely racist.
That's what it says. Ancient Egypt and solving different puzzles. But his attempts fail, and he regains his consciousness in Austria. All right. While being pestered by... Yep.
This is bad.
Yeah, I'm telling you. This is the worst.
This is bad even for...
even for this shitty website that you should never go to.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, you know what I didn't do?
Would you like me to read the one on Wikipedia? Episode by episode.
I don't want to do that. I like having the bad one. I don't want to read a good one. That's the problem.
Okay, I see. You hate yourself.
It makes it even more fun to just make fun of how poorly written they are.
Bad fandom is? Sure. Yeah. I'm gonna have the Wikipedia one open for my own personal benefit because it has been like 2 weeks since I watched this.
Mm-hmm. I'm just checking that that we are, streaming properly and it's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean we've never had technical issues before. Why would we start?
Never in our entire lives.
Certainly not multiple times tonight.
Okay, this is saying the most recent video, but what's going on, Twitch? What's wrong with you? Oh, well, maybe YouTube's okay.
Maybe YouTube.
We can hope. He says. We can hope. Well, it says we're live.
Hope, yeah.
Oh, yes, good. YouTube is going well. Twitch is being weird.
Yeah, Twitch says you're live,
but isn't playing the
video.
Nothing's
actually playing.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. That happened a few weeks ago, and then at the end it was fine. There was a video to download. No idea. No idea what's happening with Twitch.
Very strange.
Anyway, you can watch on YouTube. Obviously, if you
clearly the superior streaming service.
Obviously. Anyway,
one that's inconveniencing us less.
While being pestered by a mysterious voice to give the body to Mark, he gets attacked by a group of armed men and chased into the streets. He watches Arthur Harrow giving a speech about Amit to his disciples while using her powers to judge them. Harrow is told that the scarab of Amit is missing and realizes that Grant is responsible. Grant loses consciousness again and brutally murders the disciples who are attacking him. He manages to escape in a truck.
We don't know that it's brutal.
I mean, it looks brutal after.
Certainly implied that it is, yes.
Yeah. The implication is there.
It's all about the implication.
This sure is. They get straight to the fucking point. Really, with this show, it's like, he wakes up.
You get just enough time with Steven to understand that he's a dweeb.
Mm-hmm.
He sucks.
Yes.
And no one likes him.
Yes.
And then shit pops off.
Yeah, it does.
And it does so very quickly.
Yeah. What's the word I'm looking for? The blackouts are a good device to have, so you can just skip straight to things. There should be an action scene here. We're just gonna skip to the end.
Yeah, it's the old like Simpsons gag of scene missing, followed by carnage.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like having him go about his day, go to bed, wake up in the middle of a field in fuck knows where. He's outside a castle. This guy's looking out of a top story window at him with guns. And he's like, I don't know why I'm here. Just wave at them. And the guy waves back. And his buddy's like, what are you doing? Shoot him.
That's very good.
It's a great device for moving the story along without getting bogged down in details. But also it is a fantastic device for comedy. It's very funny.
It is, yeah. Also a great device for just terrible green screen through this whole section.
Oh, what do you mean, Aaron?
Well, he wakes up on a hill in front of a green screen, and then
what? There was a hill there and a castle.
He's driving a truck in front of a green screen.
Yeah, the green screen is pretty egregious.
Yeah, it's
egregious. Is that something?
It's something you said.
Yeah, wish I hadn't now.
Yeah, it's a fun time, and just cutting to the carnage after he blacks out is funny just to see his reaction. And
yeah, I like that. We've taken enough time to establish who Stephen Grant is as a character, get the gist of him, and then throw him into weird situation. He's in a place he doesn't know, doing shit that he has no clue about.
Yep.
His body's not listening to him. He's blacking out. He's hearing voices, hilarious voices. And it's enough intrigue to get you to be like, what the fuck is happening with this guy? And really hooks you hard and fast.
Yeah. It is good.
Oh, no. What's up?
Got a scratch on my screen. Anyway. Later, Grant makes his way to the museum where he is approached by Harrow. He gives Grant a talk about Amit and then touches him to read his scales. Which, I mean, there was no
explanation. Not given any context within this synopsis at all.
Just touches him
to
read his scales. It's just a thing that
they're throwing out here.
He's got scales.
The thing that people do.
He's got scales all over him and he's just reading his scales.
You got to read them.
Touch them.
They're meant to be read.
That's it. Harrow looks worried and says there is chaos in him. As Grant runs, Harrow demands him to give him the scarab. He sends jackals to chase Grant through the museum. Grant makes it to a restroom. In the mirror, he sees his reflection, which is somehow talking to him. The reflection demands him to give him the body. Confused, Grant gives in. The reflection, Mark Spector, then takes over Grant's body and summons the Moon Knight suit. He then defeats the jackal before walking out of the restroom. End of episode 1.
Okay, so this missed a few things. After the Austrian Alps part, you've got the car chase, the truck chase along the mountain, which is fun. There's fun stuff in there if you discount the green screen horribleness. Lots of blackouts on the road, lots of missing action scenes, which, you know what? In this circumstance, I think they're really, really well done.
Yeah. At the beginning, it's good.
it's a thing that they go back to the well a couple of times, and it's fine for the most part. I
Yeah.
think near the end, it's like we couldn't just get a payoff for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it can be a little bit frustrating in that regard.
Yeah.
We also, I think, after the truck chase along the Alps, it's like Grant wakes up back in his bed. He's got a date to go on
Yep.
with one of the workers at the museum.
Mm-hmm.
Goes to the restaurant they're having the date at, waits, gets stood up, calls her, realizes he's been gone for what, 2 days?
Yep.
Missed the date completely. And he's getting phone calls from someone he doesn't know named Layla, who's calling him Mark.
Yep.
And that's when he's confronted by Harrow at the museum, where Harrow reads his scales, which is to say that he judges his soul based on how good of a person he will be. Maybe
Maybe one
he's doing.
day he could possibly be not good or could be good.
Feel like we've touched on this subject somewhere in the MCU before, albeit with technology and not ancient Egyptian space magic.
Yes.
But you know, Harrow's cool. Harrow's a creepy dude.
He is.
Puts
I
glass in his
like
slippers.
the character. I don't think
Mhm.
he's
He's
not
not
used to the
a.
best potential.
Yeah, I feel like he's an interesting personality, but not necessarily a compelling villain.
Yes, exactly.
I
like when
neat to watch.
I like
Doesn't really do a lot.
Yeah, I like what they do with him later, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, as a villain, not the most compelling or amazing, but he's
How cool are
fine.
mirrors?
Mirrors are cool. Yes, I like all the mirror stuff. Talking to himself.
Yeah, it's
Throughout the
almost
whole show.
like this show has some kind of theme about like reflection, self-reflection, and all that.
Possibly.
It's also very cool that the first time you see Moon Knight
Mhm.
is in a reflection in the puddle from the bathroom.
Yep.
Like the camera pans around, you're like looking at the floor first, and you see the back of Moon Knight, and then it pans up, and you see him, and he's all cool and mummy looking. It's fucking sick. God, I love that design so much.
It's a very good costume, and I like Stevens as well. The suit, it's very good.
Yes, which we have not gotten to yet, but it is very, very good.
Yeah.
I think my favorite thing about episode 1, apart from the intrigue that hooks you, is the horror vibe.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of like flashing lights and images out of the corner of your eye and stuff that appears and disappears and reappears.
Yeah.
And it's all like played like a psychological thriller / horror to some degree. It's not super intense, but it's there.
Yeah.
And that vibe goes very quickly. It comes back sparingly throughout the show, but it's mostly here.
It's just the first episode, really. Yeah.
Yeah, like we have some like mummies later.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's mostly just the mystery that's like keeps it spooky, let's say.
Yeah. Once you realize what it all is, then it's like, I'm sure, like if it were a real thing, it would still be kind of freaky.
Yeah.
But we're in the world of superheroes, so it's like, this is normal. This is like a Tuesday.
Right.
It's fine. Khonshu looks fucking cool. You only see him briefly in this episode, but he's all skeletal and bird-like, and he's got wisps of fucking bandages and shit. He's very fucking cool.
I think
there is one bit
where
you see him real clearly in daylight, where he's like waiting at a bus stop, and it's very funny.
Yeah. I think a lot of the at least the main like the gods, like the CG gods, are really good. They look really good in this show.
Yes, I think they are the peak of the CG in this show, which has very, very few peaks and a handful of troughs.
Yes. The jackal doesn't look amazing in the first episode.
The jackal's not great, but it's very dark and moving very quickly. I can excuse that to some degree. Anything else in episode 1? There's that one song that sort of uh, like
Yeah.
bookends the
Mhm.
blackouts. That's a fun one. Remember when that was
Mhm.
meme fodder for every fucking TikTok on the planet?
I'm sure it was. I don't know what a TikTok is, but I'm
You,
sure it was.
I know you have an account.
I have an
I don't.
account. I make a video. I make a video once every 6 months when I remember. I'm
You've officially used the app more than I have, old man.
when I'm sitting on the toilet, and I'll do one of the filters.
I look at TikToks on Instagram and YouTube like a normal person, like a normal adult.
Exactly. The next morning, Grant is adamant that what happened was real. He pressures JB to show him that doesn't explain who that is, just says JB.
That's the security
Yes.
guard?
Pressures JB to show him that security footage from the night before. On the footage, Grant sees himself getting chased by nothing, all in his imagination.
Great.
he then
Fantastic.
he then sees himself walking out of the bathroom and staring cold face into the camera. Afterwards, Grant is called into his manager's office and is fired for the events of last night. He sadly returns to his flat and finds a key to a storage unit. Upon arriving at the unit, Grant found the golden scarab, many passports, and guns. He then saw his reflection in the mirror. Spectre explains that he is the avatar of Khonshu, the Egyptian god of the moon. He is Khonshu's Moon Knight. He then asks for control of the body, but Grant refuses and says he's going to take it to the police. As Grant runs out, he sees Khonshu in the distance. He starts running from Khonshu and exits the building. He falls down in the... Why is this... It's like... This part probably could have been sped up. This doesn't need this
it goes
much
into
detail.
detail on a lot of stuff that doesn't need it.
Yeah, and
and then it just rushes through everything that could probably use some context.
Right. He falls down in the street where a scooter almost runs him over. The woman turns out to be Elle Fowley, who tells Grant to hop on, not knowing that Spectre is gone. Grant is confused, but hops on the ride with Elle Fowley.
Couldn't say the woman turns out to be Layla?
Nope. Just
Isn't
says
that like the verbiage that would make more sense there?
the last name.
Wow.
And it seems, by reading this, that they only ever mention her by her last name.
But, oh yeah, because they don't mention her getting phone calls from Layla, do they?
Mm.
Whereas Wikipedia has Layla right there and it's hyperlinked and everything.
Yep, no, it's just a last name, no hyperlinks on this bullshit website.
Continue.
Yeah, we don't want to discuss this. I guess there's nothing really to discuss. You found
I mean,
things.
well, I was going to say, if that was the end of your little spiel there.
That's the end of that paragraph.
I am mildly disappointed that they pull the trigger on the reveal that quickly. They get into it really quick, and I'm fine with it. But part of me is like, you could have strung it along a little bit longer. Made us guess a wee bit. I don't know.
I don't mind.
There's no mystery to it.
Yeah, they did the first episode. That's all you need.
Yeah, I guess.
There's more.
Yes.
There's more mystery and intrigue to Moon Knight.
That is true. That is true. Episode 2, The Suit.
Mm-hmm.
Summon the suit, or summon the soup, as Stephen mishears.
Yeah.
The Mr. Knight suit is very good.
Mm-hmm.
It's I fucking love that suit.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I also love that Stephen and Mark have very different ways of doing action. One of them is good, and one of them fucking sucks. But like different weapons and everything. Yeah. Different mannerisms, different weapons, different personalities, different costumes. They're really just giving me my money's worth. You know, all that money I sunk into this project.
Exactly.
As a person who loves like the visual element, the suits and all the gadgets and shit, they're really giving me my money's worth here.
Yes. It's very cool.
Do we also get... No, there's no Crescent Moon cape in this episode, is there?
Not in this episode, no.
No, you just get the little Crescent Moon batarangs.
Like, yeah. I think that's later, like when they're in Egypt, I think. 5.
Yeah, it's in episode 3.
Yeah. They return to his flat, and Alfuli. I don't know. Is it Alfali or Alfuli?
I think it's El Fauli.
Alfali asks many questions that Grant cannot answer. 2 police officers then knock on Grant's door, so Alfali hides. The officers deem Grant's ID to be fake and arrest him. On the way to the station, they reveal that they aren't officers and then bring Grant to Arthur Harrow. Harrow doesn't want any violence and explains to Grant why he needs the scarab and to not trust Khonshu. Harrow explains that Amit judges people before they sin so that they cannot commit the act. However, before the conversation moves ahead, Alfali arrives. Harrow sends jackals at Alfali and Grant. The 2 run away while Alfali tells Grant to summon the suit, but he doesn't know how. Grant is then forced to jump out a window and lands with his Moon Knight suit on. His suit is a fancier version which goes by Mr. Knight. He then fights the jackal despite not being skilled in combat. During the fight, Grant finally gives in and hands the body to Spectre, who defeats Jackal, but realizes that Harrow has the scarab. Khonshu threatens Alfali's freedom, so Spectre agrees to go to Egypt to hunt Harrow.
Why are you getting this like mocking tone?
It's just like it's just like they skip so much stuff and then describe every single bit of an action
really drill
scene.
down on the lentils that they ate.
Yeah, God. Good fight. I like the fight with the jackal and being invisible and
yeah, it really adds to the whole Steven's fucking mental.
Yeah, exactly.
I do like that some people in the street are like, is he having a seizure? What is that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's fun. It's a good show. I like the show.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise. We, the guys who do the MCU podcast, like this MCU show.
Yeah, crazy.
We get a little bit more mirror stuff, specifically at the end there, where Spectre is basically telling Mark that, no, we're going to Egypt now.
Yeah.
And Steven gets to live in a mirror for a bit.
This is where we get our first F-bomb in the MCU. You thought it was Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but it wasn't. It's hidden here.
Oh, first one in a movie.
Well, sure. Yeah.
Wait, what's the one here?
He's telling Steven to shut up, and he's like really angry, and Steven's like talking over him, and they're kind of arguing, and you can like, if you listen, he says fuck. He says like shut the fuck up or something like that.
Yeah, sure. I don't necessarily recall, but I could believe that.
It's there. You just gotta listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
I don't expect that you would lie to me about something so trivial.
No, I wouldn't. It's there. Yeah, and it's pretty cool. They're in Egypt. They don't fuck around. They're not in Egypt, and then they're in Egypt. There.
And because we basically get that from Steven's point of view, right? He's in the reflection after the death of the jackal creature.
Yeah.
And then the next time we see anything, he's in a mirror that's just been uncovered at Egypt.
That's it. Excuse me.
And we get the big pan out to see the landscape, and that's a fucking cool reveal.
I was up till 3:00 playing Marvel's Spider-Man 2.
And you still haven't beaten it. Disappointing.
Well, I had to do jobs. I had to job. I had to go to my job.
You said that like I didn't work today.
Some of us have to work on the weekends.
I know. Sometimes that's me.
Anyway,
what do you want from me?
Many days later, Spectre chases the disciples of Amit around Egypt. During the fight, Spectre blacks out and wakes up with a knife through a member's heart. He questions Grant, who says he didn't do it either. After he couldn't get information, Khonshu suggests that they call a trial of the gods. The Eneids could then judge Harrow themselves. They reach an agreement that Harrow is not committing the acts that Khonshu claims. An Eneid that agrees with Spectre tells him that Senfu, who recorded the location of Amit's tomb a long time ago... That's the end of the sentence.
Did I have a stroke or did you? Or did we both?
An Enid that agrees with Spectre tells him about Senfu, who recorded the location of Amit's tomb a long time ago.
Okay,
Okay.
that sounds more like
That
a
was
sentence.
yes. Okay, I think that's
That one might have been on you.
that may have been on me, but also maybe there should have been a comma somewhere. I don't know. His sarcophagus
Probably.
is with a man named Anton Mogart. Exiting the temple, Spectre finds Alfali, who decided to help him and wanted to understand more about his dissociative identity disorder. She knew Mogart and was able to get them to his place. At Mogart's estate, Mogart turned on them, causing a battle. Moon Knight was able to kill all of the guards and threw a crescent blade at Mogart while he tried to escape. That's where we get the cape.
Yes. Yeah, you get the big crescent moon cape, which looks silly, but it's my kind of
It's
silly.
so dumb, but it's fucking cool.
It is 100% the kind of silly that I appreciate.
Sure.
So Anton Mogart, I think, is the alter ego of Midnight in the comics, who is like one of Moon Knight's biggest nemeses. He's not a particularly big name villain, but he is
Moon
for
Knight
Moon Knight,
doesn't
apparently.
have a lot of big name villains.
No, I would hazard I would hazard to say that he doesn't have any big name villains. I'd say his arch nemesis, his biggest name villain, is one solely for him.
Yeah.
And that also gets name dropped in one of these episodes, and maybe it'll be a thing later. I don't fucking know.
I did read a trivia thing about
That'll be Dracula.
This
is my fucking money, you nerd.
About because Bushman is apparently like his big villain. And
his old mercenary company CEO.
Yeah, so he gets name dropped at some point.
He does.
But like they decided not to go with him for some reason, to maybe save him for later, and that's why they went with Harrow, who only ever appeared in one comic, and he's basically not the same character that's in the show.
Yeah, there's like one little nod to the character he is in comics, which is the glass in the shoes.
Yeah.
Because he's a pain doctor with a chronic pain illness. I don't know. It's a whole thing. But Moon Knight seems like a character who has a lot of lore that you can pull from and manipulate and add and combine to make cool new shit, because no one's really going to question it too much.
Right.
You do that with Captain America or Thor or Iron Man. If you start amalgamating villains and storylines too much, people will get salty because nerds are shitty.
Fandom was a mistake. Both
fandom was a mistake.
The website and the fandom.
The concept.
Yeah.
Conceptually, just bad all around.
Yep. Yeah, a cool fight scene. I liked it.
Very cool.
And
fucking Mark gets stabbed. No, Steven gets stabbed through the fucking torso.
Yeah.
Because he's like fighting with Mark for control of the body when Mark starts to like be a bit too brutal.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. He's choking a guy out. Takes control of the body. Lets go of him. Immediately gets stabbed. He's like, no, take the body back. Take it back. Take it back.
Yeah.
And then, Mark gets to do the cool thing where he snaps a fucking javelin out of him and then heals over it. It's very cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Actually, it would have been the last episode, but either way, the way that Moon Knight suits up, specifically like classic Moon Knight, is very Magical Girl-esque. He's very Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
I really like it, the way the bandages sort of splay out from the middle and yeah.
If only cool floated play into the sky and
and became sparkles
and it spun around. It'd be great. I'd be into it. They went to the desert and opened up the sarcophagus to find a cartonnage.
Wait. Did you have anything to say about the Aeneid? The Egyptian gods.
It's an interesting scene. It's just so dumb. It's like, okay, we're gonna get Harrow here, and we're just gonna ask him, and we'll see what he says. And he comes in, and he's like, "Nah, it wasn't me. I'm not doing that."
And then Khonshu throws a hissy fit.
Yeah.
And makes his case look super weak.
That's the best part of that scene is the overacting from Oscar Isaac who
Is he being overdubbed at that point, or is that just his voice?
well, yeah, I guess he's being dubbed, I think. I don't think that's actually his
But like he's
voice.
still like doing the acting
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
It's very good, but I do find that whole plot point to be very dumb. Like, Khonshu, you're supposed to be like an all-powerful god,
Mm-hmm.
and you just got played like a fucking rube.
Yeah.
How did you not see that coming, you stupid bird brain idiot? Oh,
Uh,
the other thing, episode 2, I completely forgot, was crush his windpipe. The amazing bit where Steven and Harrow are sitting down and just hear fucking Khonshu in the back of his room.
crush his windpipe. Yeah, great. There's a lot of great lines from Khonshu through this whole
Khonshu's
show.
so fucking good.
He's really good. They went to the desert.
I may not believe in a god, but I'll believe in Khonshu all day.
Yeah, fuck yeah. They went to the desert and opened up the sarcophagus to find a cartonnage. Spectre couldn't decipher the stars on the cloth to locate the tomb. He eventually gave in to Grant, who was able to understand it with his knowledge. However, the star patterns change over time, so they couldn't pinpoint an exact location. Khonshu, the god of the moon, then told them that he could turn back the night to how it looked when Senfu created the cartonnage. He told Grant to have Spectre free him because it was inevitable that the Eneids would imprison Khonshu in stone. With the help of Grant, Khonshu turned back the night sky to a point where they could find the tomb. Grant then passed out from exhaustion while Khonshu was imprisoned by Osiris and the rest of the Eneids. With Khonshu gone, Spectre is stripped of his powers.
So, I definitely get the sense that the only real reason we have the Trial of the Gods is to introduce them, and make them as unlikable as possible, specifically so that when Khonshu does the thing, we can depower Mark / Steven.
Yeah,
because without that, they're kind of unkillable, and that leads to some issues with things that happen later.
Yeah.
But hey, that turning back the night sky thing is fucking sick.
That's really cool, yeah.
It's like one of the coolest visuals I've ever seen in anything.
It looks really good. Yeah, look, this show is pretty cool, I gotta say. It's a lot of fun. I like all the characters, even the villain that doesn't get to do much. But, you know,
he's a fun watch.
Yeah.
Just doesn't do a lot.
Yeah, and like just playing with the mythology and these gods, and it's fucking sick, bro.
Yeah, it's fun to see a take on mythology that doesn't get a look in like pop culture all that much.
Yeah. Okay. Suddenly, Harrow's men approach. While Grant is passed out, Alfali uses a flare to ignite the explosives in the back of their truck, killing them. End of sentence. They arrive at the location of...
Fucking murders those guys.
They're all
Murks them hard.
They arrive at the location of Amit's tomb and go inside. However, Harrow's men are there as well. Inside, Grant and Alfali are split up. Alfali encounters Heka priests who kill Billy Fitzgerald. This part's fucking disgusting, by the way.
Wait, who the fuck is Billy Fitzgerald?
Apparently, this guy, not only does he get a full name drop, he also...
Yeah, fuck you, Layla.
He also has a hyperlink. He's one of the guys that was like a fake detective when...
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Layla. No first name for you, Alfoli.
Yeah, they're fucking ripping out the dude's heart or whatever the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, it's a bad time.
It's a bad time. Well, for that guy, it's pretty sick.
Great time for us, the viewer.
Great. After almost getting killed, Alfali is able to escape from the threat. Harrow then greets her and tries to tell her the truth about her father. He tells her that Spectre had something to do with it. She then leaves before he could say more. Meanwhile, Grant finds a tomb, which turns out to be the tomb of Alexander the Great. He marvels at the fact that he is there before remembering the objective. He grabs Amit's Ushabti, which is the key for Harrow to let Amit loose on the world. He is then found by Alfali, who questions him. Seeing her anger, Grant allows Spectre control of the body. Spectre explains what happened the night that Bushman turned on him. Harrow then walks into the room. Spectre grabs an axe and prepares to fight. Harrow wastes no time and shoots Spectre, killing him.
I do love Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones is great. I love me an adventure. I love an adventure. You make someone go on an adventure.
I love shooting dudes who grab a fucking melee weapon to fuck you up.
Yeah, go on an adventure, find some treasure, get shot. It's a good time.
Raid the cultures of foreigners. Steal their shit.
I love a
Take
good
it back
Tomb
to the
Raider.
British Museum.
A good Tomb
Yeah,
Raider.
there haven't been a lot of good Tomb Raiders.
No, it really hasn't. Yeah, this is they shoot him and he dies.
I get real big like the Mummy vibes from this for obvious reasons.
Yes.
And that's great. I wish more things gave me the Mummy vibes.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my only note. Actually, no, not my only note. My other note is I love that dumb fake history Assassin's Creed bullshit where they're like, we've found the lost tomb of incredibly important historical figure. They were secretly this fucking thing in our universe.
Yes.
Alexander the Great was a fucking superhero, probably. I don't fucking know.
They take a real history or real mythology or whatever, and they add their own little spice to it, make it fit into their world.
I do like Grant referring to Alexander the Great as Mr. the Great.
Yeah.
As he's like defiling his corpse. Very fun.
Spectre wakes up in a mental hospital. He stares at a wall when El Fowley, his assistant, helps him out of his wheelchair. He then starts to go crazy, but is sedated. He wakes up in front of his doctor, Arthur Harrow. Spectre then remembers that he was shot and tries to escape. He runs by a sarcophagus that opens up. Out walks Grant. Grant! Oh God. He's gone. He's gone again. Where did he go? Nobody knows. I don't know. You don't know. Who would know? Not me.
Oh God. Oh, hello.
Hello. Back again.
Yep.
How's it going?
I heard sarcophagus and then blip. Nothing.
Okay, sarcophagus. Out walks Grant. The two alters hug and try to escape. As they reach the door, a hippo greets them, which scares Grant and Spectre. Spectre then wakes up again at Harrow's office. Harrow talks to him about traumatic memories, as well as what is real and fiction. Spectre starts to lose control again and finds himself back in front of the hippo, who greets herself as Toweret. I love me. I love. I don't know why. I don't know why this is a thing, for starters.
What do you love?
What is this fake out, like, mental hospital thing? This has been in multiple things that I enjoy.
Oh yeah. It's the mind prison, mental mind prison.
It's like
I know it's happened in a lot of things, and I cannot put my finger on a single example. I need you to list some to me.
Here we go. Buffy the Vampire Slayer has an episode where she gets like stabbed by a demon, right? And it, like, poisons her, and she wakes up in a mental hospital. And then the whole episode is like because this is like season 5, I think. So it's like, has the whole show been like in her head? Has she been crazy the whole time? I won't spoil the end.
Does The Darkness 2 have an example of this?
The Darkness 2, it has a whole lot of that game. You're just running around a mental hospital trying to escape. It's amazing. I love that fucking game. It's so good. The first one's great too, but I don't know. The Darkness 2 is amazing. 12 Monkeys.
Yep.
Doesn't
it kind of does it.
It kind of does.
It plays with the idea.
Yes,
for sure.
It's like, is this real or is it not real?
Yeah, like ultimately, whether it's a mental asylum in the confines of someone's mind or not, what you're really playing with is the unreliable narrator thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's good. I'm fucking amazed that they pulled the trigger on that in episode 4, like end of episode 4, start of episode 5.
Yeah,
in a 6-episode series.
Yeah,
That's incredible restraint. Good job.
Yeah, it's fun, and it also like it changes things up. It's like you've watched this last 3 or 4 episodes, and then now we're just gonna change it a bit. We're gonna make you now think that maybe everything you've seen isn't entirely real.
Yeah,
Um,
we've hit the handbrake and taken a hard left into like psychological thriller territory.
yeah,
Though it's never quite as like intense as a thriller would be, I suppose.
right.
Um, I like all the accoutrements of the mental mind prison, the
Mhm.
Rubik's Cube, the Moon Knight action figure, the
Yeah.
postcards on the wall, all the characters who are just other patients or orderlies.
Mm-hmm.
The hands of the clock are Khonshu's staff, which is a fun one.
Yeah.
Lots of
Cool.
neat little nods to the real world,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
if that is what it is, because it's really hard to say.
Yeah.
Because yeah, like this entire series is bonkers enough that you could totally believe that this is just a mental break that some dude is having in
Mm-hmm.
a mental institution.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And then there's the sarcophagus. He's sarcophagi.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. So Steven's in one. Cool. Great. Makes sense. There's
Happens
another
to be
one
another one.
that they completely ignore.
We'll just keep walking past that one. I'm
Someone
not even
seems
gonna.
really angry in there. He's really not thrilled about being in there.
We'll just keep him in there, whoever it is.
There's been nods at whatever that is since
Mm.
episode 3.
Yes.
Uh, and they're only ever nods. And the entire time during this initial run of this series, I remember you and I just being like, they gotta do it, right? They
At
gotta pull the
some
trigger
point.
because you know, if
Mhm.
anyone's read the Moon Knight comics, you know it's Steven, it's Mark, and there's other entity, other
Yes.
alter, I guess.
Yeah.
It's got to happen sometime. We've only got an episode and a half left of this bitch.
Towerette brings them to a boat and explains that they have died, and the hospital was a transition period. She needs to weigh their hearts to see if they are worthy to go to the Field of Reeds. Towerette is confused about there being 2 of them, but nevertheless she weighs the hearts. They don't balance because they are not full. Towerette gives them a chance to go back in their memories so they could equal them out. They return. Okay. So now okay. They're going back
So
in
now
their
we
memories.
return
So
to paragraph 1.
now I return to the beginning of this plot.
Thanks, fandom.
During Mark Spector's childhood, he and his brother, Randall, went into a cave. Suddenly it started raining, which caused the water to rise. Randall drowned in the cave, which led his mother to hate Mark. The wrong kid died. This constant
Wrong
abuse
kid died.
and hatred caused Spector to develop an alter, which he named Stephen Grant after his favorite movie character. That was another fun thing too.
Yeah, the
beginning of
movie Indiana
yeah,
Jones.
the beginning of the mental hospital section starts with the fake movie, which is pretty funny. Over Spector's life, he kept fairly good control of his altar. One day, he was raiding a dig site in it. Oh yeah, that's just that. By the way, that's the whole mother part. They don't mention the abuse or anything. It's just like she
But yeah,
hates
the
him.
horrible, dark bullshit that goes on in this. Probably like as a whole, this series is fairly dark in terms of its themes and like
Yeah.
in the action, especially the implied stuff.
Yes.
I don't think anything gets darker than that bit though.
No, when she fucking picks up the belt, I'm like,
Yeah,
what? Jesus fuck.
like, oh, I don't like it. It's
No.
not. I don't know.
It's definitely
Can move on now.
definitely the darkest part of the MCU up until
Fucking grim.
Maybe Guardians 3.
Yeah.
Over Spector's life, he kept fairly good control of his altar. One day, he was raiding a dig site in Egypt when his partner, Raoul Bushman, got greedy over the money. Bushman killed a group of people, including a man named Abdullah El Fawli. Bushman then shot Spector and left. Spector crawled his way into a tomb and attempted to kill himself. Suddenly, he heard a voice, that of the Egyptian god of the moon, Khonshu. The god sensed the chaos of multiple altars inside Spector and asked him if he wanted vengeance and... Okay. Asked him if he wanted vengeance and bring justice onto bad people.
I mean, I would say yes to that, even if it is incredibly broken
Wanted
English.
vengeance and bring justice. There should be a 2. He wanted vengeance and to bring justice onto bad people.
Yes.
Terrible. Seeing that he was going to die, Spectre agreed. You know what? I'm gonna die. So yeah, sure.
I mean, shit. What else do I have going on for me
like,
right now?
I could die, or I could be alive with like powers. So I'll do that one.
I mean, shit. I could be not dying, and I would take this deal. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Khonshu then empowered Spectre with powers, making him his Moon Knight. Spectre then met Abdullah's daughter, Layla, who finally has...
We have a name!
She has a name, and she also has a link.
Although I do have to point out that this is why there's no link on any other one. It's because this is the first mention of her in the synopsis, despite this happening later in the series.
But it just says... It also just says Layla. It doesn't say her full name here. So later on...
She never gets a full name. When it just says Al Foley, you're just supposed to assume that it's not Abdullah.
The dead guy, of course, from the beginning of the...
It mentions that she's his daughter.
Yeah, it does. Anyway. Spectre then met Abdullah's daughter, Layla, out of guilt, and eventually married her, but never telling her about the truth. Sometime later, Spectre got a call from his father, telling him that his mother died. Spectre went to the Shiva, but stayed outside, not gaining the courage to go in. Despite the abuse his mother gave him, he still felt emotion. He drank and walked down the street.
My God. I wasn't prepared. He drank.
Wait. He drank and walked down the street, throwing his yarmulke on the ground. This stress led to... You don't need to put that. This stress led to Spectre losing control of Stephen Grant and letting him loose. Grant woke up oblivious to what had happened and returned to his home in London.
Making sad ghost calls to a mother who's dead.
Mm-hmm. This is all very dark and sad and depressing.
And hey, what a twist. Mark isn't the altar.
There you go. But I mean, that was kind of obvious though, right?
Yeah,
that's not
really
a twist.
I don't know. I feel like it was twisty enough. Like the fact that Steven's the first one that you're introduced to, I guess. I feel like it was intended that you think that he'd be the main one.
I don't know. I think the fact that he doesn't know anything that's going on makes me think that he's immediately think he's not.
I mean, it definitely makes more sense. And, you know, I've read the comics. I know that Mark is typically the main one.
Right.
So.
Anyway. Back
to paragraph 8.
I have to figure out where the thing is because it's in the middle of a paragraph. The return to many memories like Reynolds' death, the beginning of Grant, becoming Moon Knight, and Wendy's death. Grant becomes emotional at the realization that Spectre created him. They return to the boat to find that it still hasn't worked. The souls of unbalanced people that climb on board to claim a victim to the sand below.
I think that's supposed to say, then climb on board.
That's not what it says,
though. It's not. You're right.
The two fight them until Grant sacrifices himself for Spectre. Spectre looks out to see Grant being turned to stone. However, with Grant gone, Spectre's heart balances. Spectre wakes up to find himself in the field of reeds. End of episode 5.
And that field of reeds looks pretty fucking peaceful.
It does. It's nice. But, yeah, God, you'd be there for like 10 minutes and be fucking bored. And then what are you going to do?
I do have to question the appeal of reeds.
Can I bring my Switch? Can I bring something? Like, Mario's out. Like
a deck of cards. Anything, really.
A deck of cards. I can practice magic tricks.
You're going to play Solitaire for eternity.
Yeah, man, that looks boring as shit. Anyway.
Looks nice, though.
It looks great. It's you'd be there and you'd be like, oh my God, this is so pretty. This is where I get to spend forever and
And be
ever.
like, I wish I had my phone so I could take a photo and leave.
It'd also be nice if, I don't know, there was other people here.
Or if I wasn't just fucking dead.
Towerette brings them to a wait. Nope, that's old. That's old news.
That is all. Is the new news.
Here we go. Meanwhile, Alfali mourns Spectre when she is briefly possessed by Towerette in order for the god to communicate a message. They need to free Khonshu. That dude's dead on the ground, and she's there, and she goes, Layla!
Oh, it's so good. I love Towerette. She's so fucking good. Oh my god. Like doing the most morbid shit, but like just vocally so bubbly.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking perfect. Love it.
Really great. Good times. Good times. I forgot about that. They need to free Khonshu. Alfali is able to do just that. Khonshu works on getting Spectre back. At the Field of Reeds, Spectre cannot be in paradise. Harrow has released Amit, and that souls of... This is terribly written.
Yeah, it's not great, and I feel like that's a pretty fucking low bar to clear. They have hit their head on the bar.
Khonshu works on getting Spectre back. At the Field of Reeds, Spectre can't be in paradise. Harrow has released Amit, and that souls of people are being killed at rapid rates. Spectre
There's a lot of declarative statements going on here that
know.
don't really have a lot of bearing on one another.
No, they don't. Spectre returns to the boat and finds Grant. He hugs the statue and makes amends with him, which wakes Grant back up. The two hug before a gate is opened by Khonshu, allowing them to return. Spectre wakes up, joined back with Grant in his body. Khonshu has healed him. With their trip to the afterlife, the two alters have been able to work together. Harrow and Amit continue their killing spree. Harrow is able to kill all of the Eneids as well. Harrow then breaks Amit's Ushabti and fully releases her onto the world.
Man, how deep was that little pool that Mark fell in?
Yeah, that's a question. I don't know.
Feel like he was sinking for a while there.
Yeah.
Well, shouldn't he just kind of float at the top instead of sink? I don't know.
You would think
I don't
so.
know the physics
Definitely
of dead bodies.
Didn't look that deep from the top. But anyway.
No.
I love me a kaiju battle.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Like, I'm not mad it's there.
Right. It's fun. I like seeing giant gods fight each other.
It's funny because like the rest of this series feels almost like one of the most distinct Marvel things that they've made.
Mm.
And then final episode, we go back to the Marvel.
I don't feel that with this. Like I don't like. Yeah, I mean these gods have been throughout the whole show. And then they're big and they're fighting each other at the end. They're gods. They can do what they want.
I will say I like that they're mostly a feature of the fucking background.
Yes, yeah, that's the thing.
The fighting doesn't focus on them. I do like that.
Yeah.
Because you get your Harrow versus Moon Knight / Scarlet Scarab stuff.
Yes,
which is fucking fun.
Layla's
and then just in the background, you get giant alligator woman versus giant bird man.
Exactly. It is mostly about on the ground stuff while the two giant gods are fighting.
I feel like I would be less positively disposed towards it if it was just like constantly flicking back to Kaiju Fight 3000.
Right. Sure. Layla's cool. I like his suit.
Layla's fucking sick. The reveal of the wings and the blades and that shot alone is just like the coolest shit in the world.
Yeah. It's really cool. Still at the temple after freeing Khonshu, Alfali witnesses this and meets with the Enid Salim before he dies. Salim tells her that the way to kill Amit is to bind her to a mortal body. Alfali is then possessed by Towerette again. Towerette offers Alfali to become her avatar, which she accepts. Towerette then gives her powers and a wingsuit, becoming the Scarlet Scarab. Not that they ever say it in the show, but that's...
I do have to wonder, like, I guess there's no real correlation between like what gods look like and are versus what their avatars turn out to be.
Right.
It's like Moon Knight, Khonshu, god of the moon. He's got a lot of moon symbology. Fair enough. Taweret, goddess
She's a hippo.
of yeah. She like. I guess it's just because they don't give you a lot of like context in the show itself as to
Right.
what her deal is.
Yeah.
That it's hard to make connections.
Mm-hmm.
But
But somehow it results
scarabs
in...
seem a bit strange, but fuck it, it looks cool. I'm in.
It does, yeah. I'm into it for sure.
Like let's see. Taweret, ancient god of stuff. Let's
Oh,
find out.
that makes sense then. That's totally explains the scarab.
Goddess of childbirth and fertility. I don't understand where it all a scarab comes into play there.
She just Layla's just pregnant. That's what happens when she becomes the Avatar. She just has a baby.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'll be
Yeah,
your
like,
Avatar. I'm gonna get a sick suit, and then she just got a stomach, and she has to push out a baby. This isn't what I expected, Taweret. But thanks, I guess.
I really hate that. But like, I feel like if you wanted to tie into that, you would do like Khepri, who is the scarab that rolls the sun across the sky, and then you've got like a obvious parallel: Moon Knight and Scarlet Scarab being like the sun god thing.
Yeah,
it's a weird choice. Hippo lady gives you scarab powers.
I like it.
I mean, I'm into it. I'm not going to say no. I just, yeah. But, yeah. Fuck do I know? Nothing.
If you wrote this show, Layla would have been pregnant at the end.
Or yeah, maybe, I guess so.
Maybe instead of Tower,
I guess
they'd be the dung beetle or whatever.
Yeah, but then we're crowding up a show with too many gods that we're never going to see them again. We're not going to see them.
We better see Khonshu again.
Well, we'll probably see Khonshu again. Might see Taweret again. Maybe.
Reckon they'll do
if we're lucky.
Do a new MCU Defenders show.
I'd be into it. Yeah. I wouldn't say no. But this all goes back to that thing we said like 4 or 5 episodes ago, where it's like phase 4 and 5. You're really looking at all these things like, are we gonna see that again? Mm-hmm. Is that coming back? Yeah. Sure, hope so.
I could see Moon Knight teaming up with Blade.
Hell yeah. No, look, I don't fucking care about doing a Defenders. Defenders had their fucking go. If you want to do it again, fine. Just do the same guys. Whatever. I don't give a fuck. Give me Midnight Suns. Midnight Suns has been my end goal since we started this shit back in 2005. Yeah. I've wanted a Midnight Suns movie so goddamn bad.
Mm-hmm. One day.
I got a game. I'll take that.
We got a game that, unfortunately didn't sell well, and they'll probably never make another one, unfortunately. But
it was good.
The game was good.
It's a good game.
Never finished it, but I loved what I played of it. Moon Knight and Khonshu talk and agree to a new deal. Moon Knight stops Harrow, and Khonshu will let them go free. They arrive in Cairo to fight Harrow and Armit. The Scarlet Scarab arrive later as well, shocking Spectre and Grant. Moon Knight and Scarlet Scarab fight Harrow, while Khonshu fights Armit. However, Armit is too much for Khonshu and defeats him. Spectre continues to fight Harrow, but gets overpowered. Spectre then blacks out. When he wakes up, he finds himself to have defeated Harrow. It's very convenient.
It is very convenient. It's almost like we have a limited budget, and boy, do we have to wrap this motherfucker up.
Yeah. We only have a limited time in this episode, and he needs to not be the bad guy anymore.
And also, like, we really, really have to save something for the post-credits, because it's Marvel, and we kind of have to do something.
Uh-huh.
But what would we do?
What would
maybe there's a third altar we could show off.
Maybe, possibly.
In the credits.
Grant once again claims that he wasn't awake either. Alfali looks at them in fear and shock. They then bring Harrow to the Chamber of Gods and use a spell to bind Armit to Harrow so that they can kill both of them. Spectre is pressured by Khonshu to kill them, but Alfali tells him he has a choice. Spectre agrees and tells Khonshu that he is no different than Armit. Spectre also says that he has fulfilled his deal. Khonshu lets them go. Later, Grant and Spectre are now able to communicate very efficiently. However, they are now aware of a possible third altar.
Now, I do have to raise some concerns with this.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking hate the whole if you kill him, you'll be just like him.
Right.
You'll be just as bad as him
Mm.
argument,
Yeah.
which is bullshit. Because the whole thing with Amit is that she is being judge, jury, and executioner before the crime is committed.
Right.
Whereas Khonshu is he's the god of judgment after the fact. He's judgment of the guilty.
Right.
Harrow killed a bunch of people.
Yeah.
He killed so many people.
Uh-huh. But you're right. That is true. But and I would agree with you if that was the end of the show.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But
I just think that bit, Layla,
Oh,
Steven,
God.
and Mark are being fucking dumbasses, and you've just blacked out
my
completely.
lights have gone off.
Yeah, I just think that Layla, Mark, and Steven are being complete asshats
Yeah.
in this moment where they're just like,
Mhm.
no, we've got to be better than this mass murdering psychopath.
Right.
And Khonshu is just as bad as Amit. I'm like, yeah, is he though? Is he just as bad? He's not great, but is he just as bad? At least he waits for a crime to be committed before he fucking murks someone.
Yeah. Yes, like I agree that it's corny and overused, but again,
this isn't the end.
they undo it.
Yeah, no, they go back on that pretty quick.
Okay. Harrow is now at a mental asylum and meets with his doctor. He is then taken out of the asylum by a man and put in a car.
Oh, how the turntables, Harrow.
The fucking he's got the wheelchair and he's puts him in, and then he goes back and he just fucking kicks the wheelchair. It's the funniest thing. It's amazing.
Amazing.
In the limo, Harrow is greeted by Khonshu, who introduces him to his friend Jake Lockley, the third altar. Lockley then shoots and kills Harrow along with Amit inside of him. So there you go.
That's a way that was worded.
That's a way that it was worded. Jake's here, and they saved him right for the credit scene.
They got to do it.
It's interesting. It's interesting that their takes on these three characters, because Jake in the comics, he's just like he's like
Taxi
undercover.
driver.
He's a taxi driver, and he's like
he's a cab driver with like underground connections.
Yeah, he has connections, and he wants information. He's gonna find out information to try and help Mark get the bad guys, and fucking Steven's just he's the rich guy that makes all the money.
Yeah, he's a film producer, right?
I think so.
They've definitely taken these characters in some interesting directions. Mark is obviously the most like comic book Mark, I guess.
Mm.
The other two, they've taken some liberties, but I think it works for the most part.
Yeah.
It's hard to say with Jake, honestly, because we've seen so little of him. Sure wish we'd seen more of him. Sure wish I could have seen some of that horrible violence he was inflicting.
Maybe one day we will.
I just want to see what made Layla look at them so fucking terrified.
Yeah, it's a cool way to end the show, and also show that hey, Jake doesn't fuck around. He's like Mark and Steven are gonna be like, we don't want to kill anyone or whatever, and then
Mark's grown a conscience.
Yeah, and then Jake's just gonna come and fucking murk everyone. Yeah, it's cool.
I like that Khonshu has grown a sense of style after hanging out with Steven.
Yeah, he looks great.
There's something real goofy about that big dumb bird skull on top of a suit.
Yeah, I guess.
I like it. It's very dumb.
Yeah. Very dumb, but also cool.
Which, I was going to say which describes this show perfectly, but I feel like this show isn't really all that dumb. It's definitely weird. It's a fucking strange one, but
yeah,
my God, is it good.
Yeah, it's fun time. Now is the part of the show where we talk about our Starks and our Stanks. This is what we like and do not like about Moon Knight. I don't know who went last week. You, me,
What was it? Spider-Man. I
Spider-Man.
feel like I feel like I went first, but
Okay, I'll
I feel
do
like I
it.
say that every time.
Here's my first Stark. The action's well choreographed and fun, especially in the last episode when Steven and Mark do their team ups. And they're like switching between that like last fight scenes, really cool. Them doing like different, using their different moves and things like that. It's cool. It's like it's a team up, but it's like it's one dude. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a one-man double team.
yeah, it's cool. It's cool stuff.
Yeah, I also really like that. Just the like every time Mark disappears, or every time Moon Knight disappears off camera, he comes back as the other one, and he's doing different shit with different weapons and a different look. It's fucking cool. And yeah, I agree. For the most part, the action is fun to watch.
Yeah.
There's some cool stuff going on there.
What is your first?
My first Stark is the performances. Oscar Isaac pulling double duty or triple duty to some degree.
Yeah.
In particular, is no mean feat, and he absolutely fucking kills it. He does so well.
Yeah.
His British accent has been called into question by British people. I'm not British. I think it's fine.
Well, I like his reasoning. Is like he's
also not British.
like the character isn't. He's doing an accent, so like
yeah, he's putting it on. This isn't actually him. He just thinks it is.
Yeah, exactly. So like I buy it. I'm like, yeah, that makes
look,
sense.
it's
sure.
not. It's far from the worst British accent I've ever heard.
He's not being like, "Oi, governor!" Like he's like.
I'd like him more, honestly.
But you know, I don't know. It's fine. Whatever.
Look,
I don't know.
Everyone is really good in that show. Ethan Hawke is compelling despite having fucking nothing to do.
Yeah.
F. Murray Abraham is fantastic as Khonshu's voice.
Yeah. Really good.
Layla, great. Yep. But yeah, Oscar Isaac. It's hard not to give him props for this because he is doing two characters at once.
Yeah.
And it's really fucking good.
Nails it. It's great. My second Stark is that I like that they didn't shy away from giving Mark like a dark reason for having his disorder. They didn't just like try and like make it mystical or whatever. Like he has an actual disorder, and it's a part of his character.
It's not just magic,
right? And that's cool. It's more. It doesn't feel like it's making fun of people with multiple personalities disorders like this. Which it might feel like that if it was more just like Khonshu having.
Yeah, if there was some mystical like dumb bullshit reason for it, yeah, definitely. But because they kind of treat it with some degree of respect, I think it's one of those things where it's a real fine line between good representation and problematic representation. I think they do well.
Yeah, I think so.
Like representing the dark parts of that character's history, very bold choice, unpleasant to watch.
Yeah,
you did good. I hated it.
Good job.
My second Stark is the fun use of the character premise for comedic, dramatic, and dynamic effect, specifically during action sequences. So I guess that plays into your first one a little bit.
Yep.
But I like the blackouts for comedic effect. They're always fun.
Yes. For comedic effect, it's good.
Especially that first episode uses it really well. Episode 3 during the fight at the black market dealers compound. They use it for fun effect there. Yeah. He's a weird character, and it could be easy to fuck it up.
Right.
And they did not.
Yeah, that's good. My first stank is.
Give me them stanks.
Too much obvious green screen. That's like look. I like this show a lot. I'm just gonna say it right now.
What?
I like this show, and so it was hard to come up with the things I didn't like. So look, green screen, sure. There's lots of.
I feel like that's a fairly easy one for a lot of the Marvel like streaming shows. Even the Marvel
Sure.
movies tend to like not green screen specifically, but like
Mhm.
CG can be a little bit iffy, especially
Right.
on the streaming side, the lower budgets and all that.
Yeah.
Even the higher budget cinematic stuff doesn't nail it 100% of the time.
I don't mind the use of green screen if it's not
If it's good,
obvious. Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
But
no, totally.
it's just very.
There was
You can tell.
there was one specific part in the truck where I'm like, I bet you fucking Aaron's gonna mention this.
It's kind of annoying to me sometimes.
It's pretty egregious.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. Not one of mine, but I agree. My first stank is pulled punches on the real grit of street level Marvel, which I guess
Yeah.
this doesn't really do the street level stuff too much. It goes more into the mystical side.
Yeah.
But like, there's a lot of nicely implied violence. That's, you know what, you've done it classy.
Right.
That's some classy implied violence there.
Yeah.
But I really would have liked to have seen some of it. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I just want to see a motherfucker get his shit rocked.
Saves. But also
That
like,
last specific blackout was just like, why?
well,
Come on.
that brings me to my second stank. Harrow's kind of just there most of the time, and we don't actually get to see him be defeated because of the blackout at the end.
Fun villain to watch, doesn't get a lot to do, and the payoff for him being beaten is
mostly non-existent up
you
until
get cucked.
he gets shot in the face. But
and you don't even see that
well,
off screen.
Again, that's another thing.
Thanks.
Like, it's a PG-13 show, and they didn't. They could have.
Just for this, I'm gonna go back and watch The Punisher on Netflix.
They could have Werewolf by Night it and made it MA, but they didn't want to do that, I guess.
Cowards.
Yeah. It sucks.
Yeah.
What's your second stank?
Oh. My second stank is that I loved the horror vibes in episode 1. Was disappointed to see them absolutely fucking gone.
Yeah.
After that, with the exception of mummy priests.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get you. Definitely. Once the intrigue is gone, it like the mystery of, because that's where most of the horror vibes come from in that first episode. Once that's gone, yeah, you don't really have anything to be scared of, I guess.
Yeah. There's not a lot to really play up the spooks. Like,
yeah.
There's tiny little bits, and they come back to the Jake blackouts where both characters are like, I don't know, was that you? That was me. The fuck was that? I guess they could play that up if they wanted to do a second series, but I doubt there's going to be a huge amount in terms of horror, unless we do Moon Knight versus Dracula.
I doubt
Give
it.
me Moon Knight versus Dracula.
I'd watch that.
I just want a live action recreation of that dumb meme panel of Moon Knight storming into Dracula's castle asking for his money and calling Dracula a fucking nerd. Moon Knight has the best like recaptioned meme panels.
Yeah, he does.
Like the one of him standing up from getting the shit kicked out of him is just, let's get this bread, and he's like stumbling.
Now is the part of the show where we rank this bish.
We rank stuff?
We rank stuff. We've talked about it. Now we need to put it in our list of movies. Currently, we have 32. This is going to be the 33rd one that we're going to put in a list of all of the MCU movies.
Alrighty. Would you like me to do the honors?
Please.
All right. At number 1, we have Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Number 2, Thor: Ragnarok. Number 3, Avengers: Endgame. Number 4, Iron Man 3. Number 5, Guardians of the Galaxy. Avengers: Infinity War. Captain America: Civil War. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. The Avengers. Black Panther. Hawkeye. Captain America: The First Avenger. Loki. WandaVision. Eternals. Ant-Man. Doctor Strange. Spider-Man: Homecoming. What If. Iron Man. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, Black Widow, Thor, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, Avengers Age of Ultron, The Incredible Hulk, Thor the Dark World, and at number 32, Iron Man 2.
Now, I'm pretty sure I suggested where to rank the last one.
Yeah, so it's up to me to
Is now
say
your
where I
turn.
want Moon Knight.
Where would you like
Moon Knight
Moon Knight?
is very well done. It is probably it's I want to say it's up there with Hawkeye in terms of MCU series that I can't find too many faults with.
Yep.
That I really care about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether it's more enjoyable to watch than Hawkeye, it depends on how close to Christmas we are. I feel like
Depends on the time
Moon
of the
Knight
year.
is a bit more evergreen.
Right. Sure.
So I would be happy to put Moon Knight above Hawkeye.
Interesting. So even though you would consider Hawkeye to be more fun,
Yes,
it's
100%.
it's the fact that it's
There's
set
no
at
one getting
Christmas.
with a belt. That inherently makes Moon Knight less fun for me.
Sure. But even though it's less fun, you would put it above
Yes.
Hawkeye.
I think a part of it for me is always like if it tells a complete story, self-contained on its own,
Mm-hmm.
I find that more enjoyable. And with Moon Knight being so disconnected from anything else in the MCU, it kind of gets a free pass on that mark.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Hawkeye is an established entity, bringing a lot of baggage from other stuff. There's plenty of other characters bouncing around from other things. Kate Bishop is about the only new and important character in that who's starting fresh and self-contained, and she's great.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much in Moon Knight that's new and awesome and fun. Well, not fun, interesting.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Moon Knight goes at number 12.
Oh yeah, you don't want to put it any higher? Because like I'm happy
you know
to.
what? I would
go
put
higher.
this. I would put this above Avengers.
Yeah. Okay. Does that put it in our top 10?
Yes. That would make it number 10 if it goes above Avengers.
I
would put it above Guardians Volume 2.
I don't know that I'd go that far, but I would go above
I don't
Avengers.
love that movie. I feel like I just let you put it there.
Yeah, and it's gonna stay there. Should have fought harder at the time.
If you're fine with it being above Avengers,
I am.
I guess I can.
We've talked multiple times about Avengers not having a style to it, and Moon Knight's got plenty of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine putting it at number 10.
All right. So our final ranking as of week 33 of this farce. Captain America the Winter Soldier at number 1, Thor Ragnarok number 2, Avengers Endgame number 3, Iron Man 3 number 4, Guardians of the Galaxy at number 5, Avengers Infinity War at number 6, Captain America Civil War at number 7, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings at number 8, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 at number 9, and Moon Knight, our new number 10.
Yeah.
With all the other ones that I said afterward.
Congratulations
and
to
number
Moon
33, Iron Man 2.
Where it will live forever.
Right. Until we add a new one, and then it'll be number 34, no doubt.
Well, yes, but it'll stay at the bottom. Guaranteed.
Yes. Absolutely. It's a wonderful bookend.
Nothing will ever be as bad as Iron Man 2.
God, I fucking hope not. Like, it's watchable. I'll watch it, but I don't want to have to see something.
You don't want to watch it.
Like, I don't want to watch Aquaman again.
I definitely don't want to.
No.
I saw that
I
movie
liked
once.
Aquaman.
I did not like that movie. And I
know
will
you
never see
didn't.
it again. Never in my entire life will I ever see Aquaman again. I doubt I will even see Aquaman 2.
Coming next fall, Josh and Aaron rank
Nope.
DC
Mm-mm.
universe.
Nope.
No, that's fair.
That's.
But what if they get good?
We'll see how Superman Legacy goes.
I saw The Flash. It's not looking great.
Well, that's not a part of it. Superman Legacy is the first movie.
Oh, okay. So we're just discounting everything that came before.
Yes. Although
So we
apparently.
can't even watch The Suicide Squad?
Well.
Because if we're counting The Suicide Squad, we can't have to count Flash.
Okay, the Suicide Squad counts.
No, not Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad
Don't you
counts
dare.
because
Don't you dare fuck that up.
Peacemaker's got his show and Waller has her show for some reason. So
Look, Nick Fury got his show.
Yeah, but he's Nick Fury.
Amanda Waller's basically the Nick Fury of DC. I'm not saying it's a good choice. I'm just saying that it is what it is.
It is what it is. What was my point? Oh yeah, yes, Suicide Squad.
We're not doing that.
The Suicide Squad counts because they've got those shows, the Peacemaker and the Waller show, and so they count, and they'll probably show up somewhere else at some point.
Yeah, like Amanda Waller's in Suicide Squad.
Blue Beetle counts, I believe.
If you fucking say so.
And then
you're the arbiter of whether we do this to begin with or not.
And then Superman Legacy is the actual beginning.
Great.
So
can't wait.
They could show up at another point. I do not want to sit through that fucking Zack Snyder 4-hour fucking Justice League ever again.
Dear God, no.
Ever again.
Too many women wailing every time fucking Aquaman shows up for some reason.
There's like a half-hour fucking concert that they put on for some reason.
Yeah, I don't.
Anyway,
welcome to the new segment where we shit all over the DC movies.
At the end of every episode, we shit on whatever.
We're just gonna pick a hat and just talk shit about it for 10 minutes.
At the end of every episode, we shit on one DC movie.
What happens when you pick out the one good one?
Well, we don't shit on that one. Superman 3. What a shit show. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, sure.
Superman 4. Terrible.
I'm going to have to take your word for
I loved it as a kid.
Yeah, but we all have terrible taste as children.
Yeah, it's not good. Superman is getting rid of all the nuclear weapons. And he like takes them all into space in a fucking and puts them in a giant bag.
Yep.
In a big net, and he like swings them around and fucking throws them away. He doesn't realize Lex Luthor. I think it's Lex Luthor. No, I don't think he's in that movie. Someone has put a little baby inside the nuclear bomb, and so he throws it, and they all blow up, right? And somehow the nuclear explosion and the little baby make a nuclear man. He
fuck off.
He like grows in space, and then he flies back to Earth. What a great movie!
I regret bringing up DC movies. I feel actively stupid for having. I feel actively stupid of having heard that. I've lost brain cells. Thank you.
Quest for Peace. Watch it now. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you all again. It's next one. What's the next one?
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
That's what it is.
Hell yeah.
We'll be watching that and talking about it at some point. Thank you so much.
Hey, that's kind of a spooky movie.
Yeah, it's got elements.
I'm taking what I can get since we're not getting werewolf by Halloween.
Crawling out of the mirror stuff, you know?
Yeah, and Sam Raimi's there.
Yeah, Sam Raimi's there.